This episode of the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place. Once again, we are joined by Aligned Health Center COO Maria Jean Cola. Enjoy. Here once again with Maria Jean Cola, our good friend from Aligned Health Center. Maria, I have a question here. We've talked a lot about how Aligned Health Center reshapes the spine to its ideal overall shape. Do people have different shaped spines, or is it just like a mold of a shape of spine that you guys base this kind of correction to?
Great question. So the overall shape of the spine is pretty universal. A lot of people will call it the S shape or the J shape, but there are certain degrees that are within a range of normal. So they will vary slightly. What we do when we put our patients through treatment, we do progress assessments at midpoints throughout their treatment, and we have a certain kind of cutoff where we will re-X-ray a patient to basically reassess their spinal structure. And as long as they're within 90%, a 90% range of normal, then we've considered that they have it. I can't say what I'm trying to say. Hold on. As long as they are within a 90% range of normal, and that's a normal postural value, then they've achieved structural correction, and they basically get to move into kind of more of a wellness type of program at that point.
Call Aligned Health Center today at 440-230-6865 or visit them online at alignedhealthcenters.com. This episode was also brought to you by The Place. The Place is the place for all of your hot tub, spa, fireplace, and outdoor grill needs. The Place has been in business for 52 years, all family owned and operated. They are a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. They have over a 16,000 square foot showroom, newly renovated, with over 40 live burning fireplaces and over 40 hot tubs and swim spas on display. They've been voted North America's #1 service center by Coast Spas. Yes, that magazine, Coast Spas, 2 of the last 4 years. Visit The Place on 2377 Medina Road today. Look for the palm trees to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. This episode was also brought to you by the Press Play Podcast Network. Look, we just again want to take time to thank you, our fans, so much for downloading, listening, subscribing, and following to the show every single week. We just passed 90,000 downloads on the Orange is Oranger, which was just insane. Never would have imagined. Thank you so much. Remember, we still have a Baker Mayfield Funko Pop giveaway going on. To enter, join our Orange is Oranger Facebook group. That's it. That's all you have to do is join our Orange is Oranger Facebook group. The winner will be drawn next week during the bye week. Look for more information to come on Twitter, which you can follow us at Orange is Oranger. Or if you want to follow the network to be up to date on all other information going on, follow us at Press Play Pods. Like our page on Facebook at Press Play Pods. Visit our website, pressplaypodcast.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. We won't flood your inbox. 2 emails a month. That's it. All available on pressplaypodcasts.com. In this episode, Jeremy and I preview the Seahawks Browns 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon game in Cleveland. We start with our House of Hoodies game preview and narratives. We jump to keys to the game and figure out that kind of the Seahawks may be slightly overrated. And then we when I say we, I mean we make our bold predictions. I try to get Jay to be a little more bolder. I only slightly succeed, but we have some fun. Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, kick block! They blocked the kick!
This is the Orange is Oranger Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I'm your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. The NFL season doesn't stop. Week 6 coming up. Short memory time here, Jay. What do you think?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, like we talked about before the show, this is a big freaking game. And it's against a really, really good team, and more specifically, a really good, potent offense. So this is just a big week, a big game. Let's get into this preview show, Chase.
Let's get into House of Hoodies game preview. Jeremy, do you know the line of the game presented by our good friends at House of Hoodies? Have you checked the line out?
I never checked the line. I think I heard, though, that it was originally at a point. So I'm going to go ahead and say Seattle by 2.5 right now.
Well, I think that I'm looking at an outdated spread. Might have been released really before the Browns game. I have here Browns favored by 2.5. That does not sound right at all.
That's off. Yeah, that's not right. I know earlier this week it was Seattle by 1. I think it's up to 2.5. I think it's Seattle by 2.5.
I'm seeing 1.5.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't check it, but
Yeah,
that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I mean, how can the Browns be favored in this game, right?
They can't be.
Yeah, that terrible showing on primetime Monday night. Russell Wilson arguably having an MVP season.
Yes.
Everything's going right for the Seahawks. Everything's going wrong, it seems, for the Browns. Once again, in this week, the sky is falling.
Yep.
This is where
we talk about this. Yeah. We talk about it so much, Chase, but the NFL, it's a week-to-week league, isn't it? It's just crazy to me. We go from on top of the world after putting 40 on the Ravens in Baltimore, a tough place to win, back down to earth, crashing down to earth after getting absolutely destroyed in San Francisco. And now here we are on a short week against a team that's well-rested with the most potent offense in the league. Like you said, an MVP candidate at quarterback. Going to be a very, very interesting week and a very important week, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think the offense is more Russell-centric than any other potent offense.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know they have some great receivers. Even DK Metcalf has kind of shown out a little bit this season. The Browns are averaging 18 points a game. The Seahawks 26, so almost about a touchdown more. But they both average about the same amount of yards on offense and give up the same amount of yards on defense. You're looking at the two numbers, you can't really tell them apart, Jay.
The big difference is they are making plays in the red zone.
Yep.
Russell Wilson is making plays. Just like last year. Remember last year Baker had like 20 touchdowns and 0 picks in the red zone?
It was amazing.
And now this year it's like just a complete 180, But that's where Russell Wilson is. And that's where the big plays make the big plays when you need them most. And that's what Russell Wilson has been doing for his team. That's why the numbers are similar to the Browns, but the difference is they're putting in the end zone and we're not.
And I think that's one huge difference compared to Baker's play in the last years. In the red zone last year, he was super efficient, super accurate, and really all year, which led us to believe he was this like elite savior of the Browns. And he really hasn't showed a lot of that. He's had flashes, but Russell Wilson is having an incredible year. This is jumping to narratives here, Jay. Russell Wilson has won 5 straight games against AFC North opponents. All right. 5 straight games against AFC North opponents. Baker, listen to this, Baker Mayfield is 5-3 following a loss in his career.
That's big. That's a big stat, and one we need to go to 6-3.
I mean, that would be huge. I mean, the Browns here, Jeremy, jumping to narratives, they're looking at a bye. So they're looking at a pretty lengthy rest here before they go to Foxborough to face the vaunted Patriots. Is this why you think this game is so important to win?
It's so because if we fall to 2-5, say if we come out after the bye and lose a game in New England, 2-5, even with our easy schedule, man, it's going to be a nightmare to come back from. 3-3 looks a lot better than 2-4 going into the bye, right?
Yeah.
Because I think 3-3 is pretty much where everybody thought would be a good place to be at this bye with the way the second half of the schedule unfolds. So it just feels it's for everything exactly that. And then you don't want to stew. If say they come out tomorrow and get whooped, then you have to go into the bye and think about 2 straight bad performances in a row, and then going into New England. It's just a tough place to be. And like you were talking about getting healthy, we had it for the second day in a row, all 53 players practice. Now, I don't know if our 2 corners, I think Higgins, Freddie said Higgins will be healthy enough to play. If he plays, we will see. But, even if Greedy and Denzel sit, they should be back. But it's a good position to be in to have all 53 guys practicing right now with your bye next week. So the Browns are healthier now than they've been all year. With the bye coming next week, they need to, as cliche as it sounds, leave it all on the field this week and get this W. And then we can go back, get healthy and get well the next 2 weeks.
How impatient – you'll be at the game on Sunday, right?
Absolutely.
How impatient will this Cleveland crowd be if the Browns go a couple series 3-and-out and maybe even a turnover?
The boo birds. You'll hear the boo birds. It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud boos coming down from the Raptors. It's going to be a giant crowd. Tickets are hard to come by. Seattle only comes to town once every 8 years, and this is Russell Wilson's first trip to town. So tickets this week are hard to come by. It's going to be a big, loud crowd. They're going to be impatient, like you said. If the Browns come out and go 3-and-out, they'll probably be booing right away at the first 3-and-out. Mm-hmm. So it's imperative. I always believe it's imperative to come out and score first and get the offense rolling. But I think this week is really going to be imperative to keep the crowd in the game, keep that home field advantage. We've talked about this before, but Seattle is a different team at home. So on the road, you need to give them a dose of their own medicine. Have the fans be loud, get them all in a frenzy by scoring that first possession.
I think one of the most important words for this team this week, Jeremy, is composure, right? We saw
Yes. Mm-hmm.
they could not keep their composure against Tennessee, and it just unraveled downhill. They had an awesome first drive in Tennessee, which I don't think really helped the narrative in that game that, this team, like the first drive is what we thought was going to happen. It's offensive juggernaut. And then just the worst possible things could happen. Baker couldn't keep
Just hasn't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, it just doesn't make sense to me. Remember the first drive Baker played in the preseason? It was boom, 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 up the field. First drive of the regular season, boom, 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 up the field. It just does not make sense. I don't understand what happened. That's one of the things, though, that is giving me hope, that maybe it's just there's some minor thing. Maybe it's Rashard Higgins, The one common denominator for the Browns' best drives of the year is what?
Higgins.
Rashard Higgins.
Yeah.
So, making big plays in those drives, like we talked about, he's almost like he's Baker's security blanket. So maybe Higgins being back and in there will help this week. I do not know. We will see. But it is so odd, man. It's just odd.
Baker against the Rams sailed a couple passes, wasn't really settled. I want to say that they really didn't keep their composure against the 49ers, man. Maybe they weren't as careless with the penalties, but they were careless on the field as far as their assignments or tackling where they could. I mean, the first play, 83-yard run. I mean, you got to do your job. And Freddie said this week, every play someone else is doing something wrong, and that affects, like, there's no greater team sport than football, right? That's what.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to think that one kind of kink is going to do this, because I'm sure other teams, there are times where someone doesn't hit their assignment. But I think composure is going to be key. You have this big veteran defense. You have a quarterback who MVP Super Bowl winning quarterback. You have a coach this team, they know who they are. Once again, the Browns are going to try to do their thing. I think composure is going to be a huge narrative with this young team. It's a young team. Baker's second year, Miles third year. I mean, this is a young team still, hoping to try to grow into their own.
Yes. No, I agree 100% with that. And, one thing that I guess is a bit worrisome, and I actually heard Todd Monken in his press conference this week touch on it, is he wishes it was just one thing going wrong so that you can just correct it. But he said it's one play, it's a missed assignment on the line. One play, it's a missed assignment by a receiver. Next play, Baker misses somebody who's open. It's just a whole myriad of issues they're having, and they just have to find a way to pull it all together. If it was one little thing, maybe it was just some of Baker's fundamental, some of his arm motion, something was wrong. It's easier to fix. But when you got a different thing going wrong every play, and then you have things snowballing, it's just a much tougher thing. And let's just hope this week it comes together and they get it rolling again like they did in Baltimore.
Hey, can we put to rest this whole OBJ's being on the trading block?
There's no way they're trading him.
Or even the even worse take that we shouldn't have traded Zeitler and what's his face? The Peppers.
Jabril Peppers.
We put to rest that was a bad trade.
No, it wasn't a bad trade. I think it's, we got to give it a little more time here. And there's no way the Browns are going to trade OBJ. And let me tell you why. Because the Hasms are conscientious of what the fans think. Okay? The Hasms will never, ever, ever sign off on it because they care what the fans think. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, they know what will rain down on them if they traded Odell Beckham Jr. I'm sorry. It would be horrific. It's not happening. And saying a team is listening to trade offers, well, yeah, of course, anybody can listen to a trade offer. I mean, if someone came to the Browns and offered them, 2 Pro Bowlers and a first-round pick, then you have to really listen, So, but of course they're listening because all teams are going to do their due diligence. Although, who knows what Dorsey's up to because no one's seen him. He's out with Sasquatch somewhere hiding with Bigfoot because I haven't seen this dude in forever. Where is John Dorsey?
Other GM. Once the season starts.
In the league. Yeah. I heard the same thing. But you know what? Every once in a while you'll be watching the game and you'll see the GM up in the box or you'll see the GM on the field. I haven't seen him anywhere. Yeah. I haven't seen or heard a thing. It's like John Dorsey is the invisible man. But you're right, though. That's all right. The season's going on. It's Freddie's show during the season. It's the GM show in the off season. I understand that. I just do find his absence a little conspicuous, but I understand it.
Yeah. Do you buy into the narrative that Zeitler is kind of like a huge missing component like that?
No, not even a little bit. I was actually watching the game last week. They pointed out Eric Kush a couple times for great blocks on Chubb's on Chubb's long 27-yard run on the trap, remember, Cush was the guy who trapped the end, who made that play happen.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not buying that. I don't think
either.
they're missing much. I'm not. No.
Yeah. When you see
Like all the PFF stats. Yeah.
When you see Hilliard
Go
getting
ahead.
trucked by a linebacker, when you see Batonio getting
Yeah.
ran over by a it's not Zeiler. It's not Zeiler.
No, and you nailed it last week. Look, PFF still has Baker as overall is like the 7th most time to throw in the league. So A, part of it is Baker, and B, you nailed it in the game recap show. Part of it is when they can just pin their ears back and come at the quarterback because we can't run the ball because we're down 3 scores. Yeah, it's going to be tough to stop a great pass rush when they know you're passing every single down.
Yeah.
So part of it last week was that. Part of it was just you ever heard the saying you ran into a buzzsaw?
Yeah.
Browns ran into a buzzsaw Monday night.
That's the
so
truth.
I'm willing to forgive all that if they come out and play a good game and pull out a win this week. Because sometimes sometimes you're the fly and sometimes you're the windshield. We were the fly this past week.
Oh, man, were we? We are still on the losing if we lose on Sunday narratives. Do we start seeing mock drafts, Jeremy, at the middle of October?
We fought at 2-5 and lose at New England, maybe. But I just
do you start
talk
playing
about that right
for
now.
the draft? Do you start?
No. They do not. There's no way they start playing for the draft. We need to learn how to win. We've got the talent to win. We need to learn how to win. And even if we go to 2-5, like we've talked about ad nauseum, you got Bengals twice. You got the Dolphins coming up. You got the Steelers twice. You got the Bills at home. You got a lot of games that you could and should win. So no, I don't think there's any point in this season. I mean, unless it gets way out of hand, that we start talking about the draft.
I agree. And it was just a question for conversation because if we do lose this game, you are 2-4, staring at 2-5 after the bye possibly. With this game, it's been clear the first 6 games of the NFL season, 5 games, the NFC might be a little stronger, top heavy than the AFC. And the fact that we have lost to the 49ers and that if we do lose to the Seahawks, those are still NFC teams, and we're still 1-0 in the division. And I think there's still a lot of football in our conference to play. And so I don't think quite yet you start looking ahead to the draft, but you don't have very much wiggle room. I mean, you think 9-7 make the playoffs, maybe 9-7 win.
You could. I mean, it depends. You got to remember too, though, that the Ravens play a lot of the same bad teams we play. They play Miami. They play, a lot of the bad teams we play as well. Arizona. Although Baltimore already played Arizona, but you know what I mean? So they play a lot of the same teams we play. Yep. So they're going to have some wins in there too. But yeah, I don't think 9-7 is out of the realm of possibility for winning the division this year.
Yep.
I'd prefer to be 10-6, but yeah, I think 9-7 could conceivably get you to the playoffs this year.
All right, let's talk about if we win on Sunday. What are the narratives? What are the articles? What happens with the Browns win over the 4-1 Seahawks MVP Russell Wilson? What are some of the narratives we're reading once again?
It's going to look just like when we beat the Ravens in Baltimore, except even bigger, though. I think it's even a bigger win. You get to 3-3, like we've talked about, 3-3 into the bye. Everybody, even before the season started, with how tough the schedule was at the beginning, everybody said 3-3 at the bye, and you're in pretty good shape, And so 3-3, boom, you're where we thought we could be. We come out the second half with a tough game to start, and then we some games that are winnable, some stackable wins. But yeah, it's going to be so funny too if they were to win, because it's like we talked about, it's so week to week in the NFL. The Browns are dead, the Browns are back, the Browns are dead, the Browns are back. The national people love it because for whatever reason, people love to hate the Browns and people love to love the Browns. So people love they love the NFL is better when the Browns are a story. Yeah. Just because for whatever reason, people are fascinated with the Browns. As we found out with our trips on BBC and all these other shows, people are fascinated with the Browns.
Yeah.
So, the NFL is loving it. And if the Browns go out and win this week, that's another week of storylines and people talking about the Browns. Yeah. So, but I think the biggest, if they win and go 3-3, they're set up nicely for the rest of the year. And who knows, maybe they go into New England and still win. New England's not playing particularly great.
Nope.
They just had some easy games. They've lucked out against some opponents. And the Browns are the kind of team that it'll give Tom Brady fits. But Tom Brady can't move anymore. He's still a great thrower of the ball, but he can't move at all. Yeah. And, if the Browns pass rush can get after him, but let's not even think about that. Let's think about the Seattle game right now. Seattle first.
If we do win, I think a narrative will be it's a young team which can account for some of the bad showings. Young coach, young quarterback, young young defense. Jay, do you see Ward and Greedy Williams playing, or are they going to stick with?
No, I don't think so. I think that
This
they'll
week in the
probably be
bye?
a little because
Yeah.
you know how hamstring issues are. He goes out there and they go out too early and hurt it again, and their season could be done.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, in my opinion, they'll play it cautious, and we'll see them in 2 weeks. But it looks like everybody else is going to play, so that's a good thing. You know, it's like the rest of our team will be there. Higgins, who knows what Freddie's thinking with his comments about, yes, he's healthy, but he may not. I don't know what he's meant by that. But yeah, this, you know, and I guess, you know, as we've seen, cornerback is the one position on the team where we could afford to lose a couple people and still not.
Yeah. Well, and I think at this point, looking at the bye coming up, why not even maybe give him a couple plays? But it's not like our defense has made us lose these games, Jay. I don't.
Exactly. And not our secondary. I mean, those two, like TJ Carey and Money Mitch, Terrence Mitchell, could start on most teams in the league from the looks of it. And it hasn't been this glaring weakness of one, you know, receiver beating us over and over. This past week against San Francisco was the run. They played great against the Ravens. No receiver did anything that game.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not been them two. So if they feel that, you know, this could be detrimental to their future of the season, I would keep them out. I think that's probably what they're thinking. I didn't see the injury report today to see if they were limited. They've been limited the last couple of days, but they did practice. So be very interested to see.
Well, that was our House of Hoodies game preview. Listen, check out House of Hoodies. They have amazing Browns and new Ohio State University jersey hoodies. They have them in orange and brown, helmet logo or elf, and the OSU jerseys black and red. They look great. These beauties are perfect for repping the Browns when it gets too cold for the jerseys at the game, whether you're at a high school game, college game, or the pros. Maybe even sneak a few drinks in under the hoodies. And the concession savings alone will pay for the hoodie in just one wear. Check them out on Twitter at HO Hoodies. Check out their inventory online at thehouseofhoodies.com. If you use promo code ORANGER, you'll save 20% off your entire order. Again, that's ORANGER for 20% of savings. House of Hoodies bring you the very best hockey-style sweatshirts to the comfort of your own home, thehouseofhoodies.com. Jeremy, keys to the game. If the Browns want to come away with the victory over the 4-1 Seahawks, the visiting 4-1 Seahawks, what do the Browns need to do?
Well, they got to pass the ball effectively first and foremost. The Seahawks are great against the run. Their front seven is great. The question mark lies in the back end. You know, the Seahawks are 26th in the league the pass, 270 yards a game, including a 400-yard game to Andy Dalton, okay?
Yeah.
They are not great in the back end. It's funny because it used to be the Legion of Boom. They used to have the best secondary in the league. They do not anymore. The secondary is weak. The corners can be exploited. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield need to have big games. I actually don't see another path to victory besides them two having big games and Baker having a big game and Rashard Higgins possibly having a big game, because I think that, you know, Nick Chubb is old, reliable. He's going to do a great job, but it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind against the run. So they need to pass the ball. They need to be strong where the Seahawks are weak. It's got to be strength versus weakness, and they have to play well. Baker has to play well, and we have to get the ball in our playmakers' hands, and they have to make plays.
You know, I kind of see this defense similar to the Ravens defense, kind of suspect in the backfield, kind of strong up front. And it seemed like their game plan against Baltimore worked very, very well. Hopefully they're able to do that against the Seahawks. I think they're going to try to run the ball, man. I really do.
I hope they do run it to set up the pass, but they're going to have to take advantage of that secondary. Trey Flowers is the starting right corner. He is the worst in the league as far as individual passer rating against. He's got a 126 passer rating against them. He's been getting torched by everybody. And they play right and left. They don't follow. So, you know, the Browns have to put Odell and Jarvis in favorable matchups against them, and they have to work it. It's just what you have to do in the NFL. You have to work another team's weakness with your strength. Now, I agree, and I've been calling for it all year, to use that run to set up the pass, and I think they will. But that is a position that they have to take advantage of.
You know, I think one other key to the game, we have to contain Russell Wilson. If we can keep –
there's no doubt about it.
And I think the Browns have not been good at this. I think back to the Texans game last year, even Lamar got loose a couple times. But it seems like these kind of quarterbacks give Browns trouble. Now, I am thankful that Mac Wilson and Schobert seem to be pretty good in QB Spy and Pursuit.
Yeah, and Mac Wilson, you know, he's a young guy, so he's going to get caught up at times, but he's super athletic.
Yeah.
And you can see, you know, he runs well. So each game he's going to get a little better because he just needs to learn the league. But, yeah, I think you're right. He could be a good spot. And Wilson doesn't run like he used to, but he runs with a purpose.
Yeah.
He gets to where he needs to get, and he's always looking downfield.
And he's still fast.
That's another thing. Exactly. And another area of and it's been for years, is Seattle has a horrible offensive line. They had for years. It's just not a good offensive line, especially pass blocking offense. It's better as a run blocking unit. But it doesn't matter because Russell is so resourceful and so smart that he's able to work around that. So, yeah, you're right, though. They got to find a way to contain him. Nobody can contain him completely, but try to at least slow him down.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. What are you trying to
And I don't even think you can do that. I mean, they're averaging. What do you say? They're averaging 26 points a game. Yeah. I think the Browns are going to have to score at least 24 points to win this game. I just can't see them holding them under 20 points. I just can't see it. I don't see how you do it. Their offense is just too good. With Chris Carson running the ball, you got Penny, you got Rashard Penny, you've got Tyler Lockett, who's playing great ball right now. Will Dissly, who was a third-round pick at tight end, who's becoming one of the better tight ends in the league. DK Metcalf is the deep threat. It's just a potent offense with a great leader. And sometimes you just got to beat them. And how they're going to have to beat them, I think, is outscore them because I don't think you can totally shut down that offense.
So I'm going to read you the teams that the Seahawks have beat. All right.
Bengals, barely.
Raiders. No, sorry, that was the last preseason game. All right, here we go. Bengals 21-20, not very convincing.
Yes.
Steelers
and Dalton threw for 400 yards.
Not
with no Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, not very convincing. They lost to the Saints 27-33. Not really close. They beat the Cardinals soundly 27-10. They beat the Rams 30-29. Which the Rams are in their own world of struggle. So they really haven't had a quality win, Jay. I mean, against a quality team. And the one team they did face that were good, they got crushed.
Well, there's some quality wins, but they weren't big wins. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying because their defense is not what it used to be. Look, KJ Wright's still a good player getting up there in age. Davian Clowney is a nice player. He's not the pass rusher everyone thought he was going to be, though. They've completely shifted. Now they're an offensive team, and they have to outscore teams. Now, that's why I think this week we have to outscore them because I just don't see us holding them under under 21 points. So, but yeah, this is not your father's Seattle, Legion of Doom defense. It's just a different kind of team. It's Russell Wilson's team now, and this is what happens when your quarterback gets into his third contract. Okay, you have to work around the edges a little bit because Russ Wilson's making $40 million a year, right?
Yeah.
But he's earning his $40 million a year, and that offense is now one of the best in the league.
Yeah. If the Seahawks did not have Russell Wilson, what would their record be, Jay?
So one in the opposite of what it is, maybe 1-4.
Yeah.
Maybe would have beat Arizona. He's that big. I mean, he's that big. It's obvious.
Yeah.
You take him out. That's why he's the MVP because you take him out of that offense, and that team is horrible. He is the offense. Nobody else could work like he does behind that offensive line in the league. I'm serious. Who? Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Maybe.
Yeah.
He makes that thing go.
Yep.
He's worth every nickel, in my opinion.
And so there is this reality where you're like, okay, he's due for a bad game, right? And so why couldn't it be on the road in Cleveland in the dog pound?
And it could be.
Against pretty fast rushers. I mean, they're not like the 49ers line, but why couldn't it be against us? I'm talking myself into the Seahawks. I actually picked the Seahawks in our, I guess, the Lions League. I picked the Seahawks, and I'm thinking about changing it back to the Browns. I did this against the Rams, and it screwed me. But I'm talking myself into picking the Browns, man. Like, what the heck?
I actually think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think this is going to be a week we put some of the stuff together. So I think they're going to win the game, but I think it's going to be high-scoring. I don't think we're going to be able to completely shut them down.
So what do you got? Give me a bold prediction.
Well, my bold prediction is that Odell is going to get off this week, and so is Jarvis. This is going to be the first week we see Odell and Jarvis both go over 100 yards. That's my bold prediction. Odell and Jarvis both. That's pretty bold, bro. Odell, the way things are going now, that's bold. Odell and Jarvis both over 100 yards.
No, I'm not going to let you do it both 100. I want to hear both 150. That's bold.
I'm going to say both 125. I won't go anymore.
All right. That's fair. Both 125. Look, I'm going to say this. I think the Browns are going to win as well. I'm going to change my pick. I think Baker's going to throw for 400 yards. I think he's going to pull a Dalton. I think he's going to pull an Andy Dalton in all the right ways, and we're going to end up with a win. It will be high scoring as well. But that's my prediction, man. Baker over 400 yards. 400 yards. Yep.
That is definitely a bold prediction. And then let's go my game prediction. Yeah. I think the Browns are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 31-24 Browns win. I think it's going to be one of them games where the Browns get up to, a couple scores, Seattle comes back, and then the Browns have to hold at the end, and they're able to hold off the Seattle Seahawks for a 31-24 Browns win. We all go into the bye week happy.
Nice. I think 33-30 Browns win on a 2-minute score by the Browns.
All right.
Fourth quarter comeback. I want to give shouts to our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place. Aligned Health Center is Northern Ohio's first chiropractic biophysics clinic. Their mission is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. Also, shouts to The Place. The Place is a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. The Place has been in business for 52 years, family-owned and operated, transforming your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. Also, shouts to House of Hoodies for sponsoring our game preview. Jeremy, any final thoughts?
No, sir. But you know what I am going to do this week? Wear my House of Hoodies hoodie down to the game because it's going to be in the mid-50s around 11 when I'm going to head up there. So I will have on my House of Hoodies hoodie, and it's supposed to be sunny and a high of 60, so it's going to be a nice day and a nice day to wear a hoodie.
It might be a little warm, man.
I don't know, man. I'm an old man. I'll be chilly. I'll be chilly.
And we'll be in touch. Let's go, Browns!
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.